Everyone, welcome back to the show. This is your Jee Sifu right here. Today we're gonna get into a more practical lesson on Taoist magic. So for those of you who don't know yet, well, I teach Taoism and Taoist magic online, so you can go to our website to get initiated, which is free, or you can get ordained to like really get started and learn directly. Anyway, so this episode, I want to talk about one thing that a lot of people are stuck at when they learn Taoist magic. So you see, we have a lot of spells, right? Um, Many spells, and they have a lot of words inside. If you learn the Chinese version, you'll be like, wow, so many words. How can I memorize everything? So let's say you have a protection spell, you have a sealing spell, you have a whatever spell, right? When you actually have problems, how can you remember which spell to use, or how can you exactly just recall the spell again? So do you have to practice a lot of time? Do you have to like every day, grind that spell thousands of times so you won't forget it? So yeah, you look at our books, we have like tons of spells, like over hundreds of spells, like a few hundreds of spells in total. So this is what push people back and make you like kind of afraid of learning because it feels like so much to remember, and you will be like, I can't even remember my basic ones, like the heart spells. It's like so hard already. So yeah, I want to talk about this because last night I was teaching a disciple how to deal with her spiritual attack, and mine. It's like she suddenly just forgot the teaching and went back to the dumb mode and started doing spells like a newbie. So yeah, it first of all, when you do spells like a newbie, your spell is going to be weaker, and also you're like focusing on, am I doing it right? Am I getting the right words and all that? You're focusing on the wrong spot. You're not focusing on the exact result. You're not focusing on what you're trying to achieve. So the magic is not going to work well because your mind is more like trying to do something to because you have to do it. It's not like you're doing something because you want to fix the problem. Okay, so how do we do spells? How do we cultivate spells? How do we use spells? This is the main topic today. So, if you're ordaining, again, you really need to come back to this video from time to time to refresh your memory and know how to learn the spells and how to cultivate them and how to use them. Okay, so first of all, there are two different ways. One is we're training, we're cultivating. It's like you're doing exercise to build muscles, right? So you're building power. Another thing is you're actually using the spell for real. You're using it, applying it to real situation. Both like the two ways are very very different. Okay, so let's say you learn your heart spell, which is the first thing you should be learning when you enter the lineage. The heart spell is a spell for you to connect to the power, to the god, and get their power. It's like a phone number to call the god, right? So it's very important, and you need this spell all the time. If you're non-Chinese, you might find that it's difficult to memorize because the word doesn't mean anything to you. It's fine, okay? Now, look, let's talk about practice, okay? When we practice a spell, your main goal is not to be too focused on like, I have to memorize it. I have to memorize it. Oh, I'm still not done memorizing. I cannot memorize it, and then your mind is all stressed out because you feel that you're failing. Okay, that's wrong. Cultivating is like you're farming. Every day you go there, you do some stuff and just let it be, and then eventually, after a period of time, you will get the fruits at the end. It's pretty natural for everyone. As long as you are a human being, it will happen. So don't put your mind on what, like, I'm trying to memorize it. I have to get there. How come I'm not done yet? I'm so stupid. Don't focus on that part, okay? Now, what you have to do is listen. That's what I will tell you when you come into our lineage. I will say, okay, here's your horse spell. Number one, you need to make sure that you know the words, right? So there are the English pinyin right there, which teaches you how to say the word, but that's not enough because the pinyin is only for you as a reference. You, number one, have to attempt to say it and then record a message and post it online where you can like reach me and ask me, oh, this is my attempt. Can you teach me? And I'll teach you how to correct and how to say it right. If you don't show me first, I will not show you anything because it's like this. You have to learn to be proactive in learning. So you show me something, I will show you something, right? Okay. So after you have gotten my recording, then you try to reference to my recording and try to fine tune yourself to make yourself alike with what I'm doing. So you try to copy, imitate what I'm doing, and you just repeat it back. Don't be shy, and then keep repeating the process. Come back again with new recording until your stuff is like, I say, okay, perfect, you sounds good. Then your cultivation begin. To cultivate the spell, you recite the spell X amount of time for X amount of days. So the basic cycle is we say 108 days, okay, 108 days and 108 times. That is a rough estimate, and in general, everyone should do well in this kind of cycle. So it's something that we have tested over time already, and no matter like how dumb you are, you will still get it, okay? So every day you sit down and recite the spell. You can read it, you can recite it, you can memorize and recite, you can read, but just repeat the spell. Slow, clear, and don't rush. Okay, so let's say we're saying a spell. Sam no chu sa tai cha tai hen wen ning kip kip yu ten zu le ning cha cha ning. You repeat like this. Sam no chu sa tai cha tai hen wen ning kip kip yu ten zu le ning cha cha ning. Second time, right? And you keep going like that. You don't go like if you go like really quickly slur or like all the memory that you build up is all blurry and it's not good. So try to go slower when you're cultivating, right? Stable, consistent. And I always say in the schedule, you have like this thing about if I am going consistent and consecutive, it's fine. If I miss one day of cultivation because of whatever reason, like I forgot, I was busy, I was sick, whatever that is, okay, 3 days added on for one day of no cultivation. Okay, so if you forgot to cultivate or whatever, that like make you skip the cultivation for that day, make up what you have not done by adding 3 days. So you're doing 2 more days extra on top of that, right? So if you miss up to 7 days, then I mean, sorry, yeah, you miss up to 3 days. Okay, you miss 3 days, then you add seven. You got to seven, then you restart the whole cycle. Okay, so that's about it, right? So if you just think about it this way, it's like in your mind there's this stress about, oh, if I miss one more day, I have to do more and more and more. I'm wasting time. That stress is good for you. Okay, it gives you some pressure, right? It's meant to give you some pressure. This pressure is kind of like the good kind of pressure. It forces you to not want to just skip or get lazy. So it's a good thing to keep you disciplined. Because once you start to feel the pressure and push yourself to cultivate, you will end up at the right spot. You will end up having the fruits. If I don't give you this rule and you're just like, oh, I'll cultivate whenever I want, how many times, whatever, I just go by my feeling, If you're like that, you're loose, right? When you're loose, you have no pressure, the fruit is not going to be strong. That's how it works with our memory. So you learn well in school because there's pressure. You need pressure to help you learn. Okay, now you look at this way. Wow, I have to cultivate just one spell like that. So if I have 100 spell, I have like so many things to repeat the same cycle. That's like, when will I finish memorizing everything? It's like, wow, mind blown, so many things. And there goes the freak out moment, right? Okay, let me tell you this. Once you do this with your heart spell and you get it, you get the basic down, okay? That's good enough for now, okay? Let's talk about how to use the spell first. Spells can be used on day one when I say, okay, you learn this spell. Boom, you learn it, good. That's yours. Then you can already use it. You don't need to like cultivate 100 something days in order to use it. Okay? Cultivating the spell makes the spell stronger. But if you don't cultivate and you just got it, you got it from me, right? You can use it already. It's not like not going to work. It's going to work too. Okay? How do you use the spell? This is what you're missing. Okay? That's why you stay so long in this show up to this point to listen to this. Very important. Okay? when when you use a spell, it's like, I want you to think of a book that you have read or a movie that you have seen. Okay, let's say, oh, Lord of the Ring, right? Okay, I ask you one question. Do you remember Lord of the Ring, the story? You're like, yeah, I do, right? Like you immediately, yeah, I do, right? So if you have to recall Lord of the Ring story inside yourself, what will you do? You just thought of, oh, Lord of the Ring, and then immediately the whole story just like come up again, right? It feels like you just got the memory back on the surface again. It feels like if someone asks you about the plot, you will have it. It feels like that, right? That is the exact feeling. That is exactly what you should be doing with the spell. Okay, so let's say you're doing a heart purifying spell, right? You don't go like slowly chanting it out word by word. Okay? Um, you don't go like this. You don't go like that. Okay? You go like this, like get ready, right? And then inside, you just thought of the spell. Like a thought only, right? Call up the title of the spell, the name of the spell. Okay? Like heart cleansing spell, right? And then it brings up the memory. Once you flash the memory to the surface, the spell is already done. It's like that, right? And remember, when we do spells, we have to stomp our foot. You stomp the left foot or right foot. It depends. Left foot, you stomp, the whatever message you got will send to the god. When you stomp the right foot, it's like you push the god's power out to exert the power. Okay, so when we do our heart spell, okay, heart spells are power source spells. So you have to call the god first, right? So you do the heart spell to call the god. Then after the heart spell, you stomp the left foot. So you send the message to the god. And then I will do the cleansing spell, right? The heart cleansing spell. And then I stomp the left foot. So the spell, the instruction goes to the god. And then I do my thing, exert the power as I stomp the right foot. Ha! Okay, now the power will come out from the God through me and to the outside. That is how we exert the power. Okay, I have demonstrated this on TikTok, like a live demonstration of how I output the power, and it's really fast, really formless, and you don't even need to remember all the words. Like, even if I tell you to say the word out slowly and you cannot remember every word, it's fine. It's still going to work, because why? Those words are all grouped together into one memory, one bit of memory. And once you can call up that memory, you can have everything. Like, the power is there, the spell is there. We call this the spell flashing method. the flashing method. Okay, because like, oh, flash the spell. Okay, so if I have to chant, like, let's say the heart spells, I chant a few. Okay, slowly, then you will see disciples going like this. Let's say we do a few heart spells now. Okay, 宁心中印化宁同行，give you then that's one. Then no sin di no sin die no sin jungning give you then doing stomach it. Okay, that's two spell. If I am doing it the flashing way, one, two, done. I don't even need any words. I don't need the time. It's like split second, boom, done. You the moment I remember like this hard spell, and then I already stomped my foot, and then that hard spell, stomp my foot, is already done in that split second. It's all there. And the magic power is actually much stronger when you flash the spell out like that because you're using your pre-heaven energies, your heart, to exert the power. When you don't think, that is when the power comes. Now, however, do we ever have to say the spell out like slowly? Yes, we do. There are times we have to say the spell out aloud or even sing it slowly. For example, we're doing like the God invoking spell and stuff like that. Those, yeah, you need to sing it, you need to chant it. Okay. Now, there's a big theory behind about why and when and such. And I have like taught my disciples using like a few hours of Zoom lessons to explain the whole thing. But the point today is not like, oh, you have to sing it out like that. The point today is when you have problems, when I need to like really use the magic for emergency or for real application, you do not take the time to slowly recite the spell. That's the thing. So, hey, think about it this way. Does it give you the sense of security? It's like as long okay, let me refer to books, okay? It's like as long as I remember which book I have read, like a title of the book, I can always just say, "Oh, I need that book," and then immediately the whole book is here. Does it give you the sense of security? Like when you really need books, you can actually call out the books. It feels like you have a smartphone. All you need to know is you remember I have that file, and then you click, then the file comes out again, and you can have everything inside. It just put the stress away, like you don't have to, oh, I remember every line inside that book, what it says. You don't need that. In order to use the spell, you just need to remember that you have this spell given to you before. You have learned this before. It's going to be there. You flash the spell out. Okay, so at the end, I will demonstrate a few spells together live, like real time, and how I will apply it. So let's say I'm doing a body cleansing spell to project a sphere of protection around me, right? First of all, you need the heart spell. So we do the heart spell and then we project. Okay, so that's how it's going to be done. Okay, one heart spell, one body purifying spell. Done. Right? Immediately. It's like wordless. 1 second, boom. You're protected already. It's so fast. It's so practical, right? Now, if you don't understand after this lesson and you're in my lineage, make sure you bring it up online or in our forum and ask me so I can explain to you again in person to clear up what you don't understand. Okay? So start using magic, the flashing spell method, and you will see that magic is very easy to do. Okay, we have to stop today. The timer is up. So see you in the next episode. Bye bye.